In 1930, the Republican-controlled House of Representatives
Hi guys, welcome to Mr. D's Test Prep for Economics. This week we're going to go over supply and demand.
Supply and command.
Okay guys, so today we're going to talk about supply and demand and equilibrium. A market is any situation where consumers in demand for commodities meet producers and sellers supplying commodities. The relationship can be represented by a set of supply and demand curves. If the level of supply and the level of demand are equal, then the market for that commodity settles on the equilibrium price. If the price is set high for the equilibrium price, then demand drops. Okay, so the four basic laws of supply and demand are: 1. If demand increases and supply remains unchanged, then it leads to higher equilibrium price and higher quantity. 2. If demand decreases and supply remains unchanged, then it leads to a lower equilibrium price and a lower quantity. 3. If demand remains unchanged and supply increases, then it leads to a lower equilibrium price and a higher quantity. And lastly, 4. If demand remains unchanged and supply decreases, then it leads to higher equilibrium price and lower quantity. In this example, the price of shoes is $100 and the equilibrium is 10,000 shoes. The equilibrium is simply where the supply curve meets the demand curve, so right in the middle. The demand curve represents the buyer side of the market. When you go out and buy stuff, you're willing to buy more stuff as the price falls. When you're selling stuff and the price rises, you want to sell more stuff. The law of demand states that as a price rises, the quantity or demand will fall as price falls. Quantity will demand will rise. This downward sloping demand curve explained is by diminishing marginal utility, or DMU. As we consume additional units of good, our additional satisfaction will fall, so we are only going to purchase additional units if the price falls. The income effect means lower prices, our income has greater purchasing power, and we can purchase more shoes in this example. And the substitution effect means that at higher prices we'll start to consider other alternatives. And the law of supply: as price rises, quantity supplied will fall, and the price falls, the quantity supplied will fall. So suppose the price of shoes goes up to $300. At a price of $300, sellers can provide 100,000 shoes, but buyers are only willing to buy 30,000 shoes at $300. This is a surplus of 70,000 shoes. Competitive market forces will push the price downward and the price will go back to its original $100, then the equilibrium will be restored. Well, that wraps up our video on supply and demand and market equilibrium. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.
Supply and command.